Hello guys, it's 8:35 now, so I and Khanmai will come to the next part on language focus. Can anyone hear me?
Okay, yes, I can hear you.
Okay, thanks. Thanks, Miss Lang. Um, Hello. Now we will come to the pronunciation part. Before my presentation, you guys should bear in mind the fact that there are no completely true rules for recognizing the stressed syllables in English. However, I'm gonna show you some tips that are usually applicable in recognizing the first stressed syllable words. I see Bitha is raising her hand. Do you have any question?
I'm sorry, it was by mistake.
Okay. The first tip that I'm gonna show you is with the two syllable nouns. If the word is a two syllable noun, we usually place the stress on the first syllable. We have some examples here, such as monkey, teacher, insect, etc. And with the two syllable adjectives, if the word is a two syllable adjective, as with the two syllable nouns, we also usually place the stress on the first syllable. Here are some examples: silent, boring, and with some numbers that ending in T are stressed on the first syllable, while numbers that end in T have their stress on the second syllable. You can see the example here: 60 and 16, 70 and 17, so on and so on. And with some words in the English language function as both nouns and verbs. When such words function as noun, the stress is usually on the first syllable, and as verb, the stress is usually on the second syllables. You can see an example here. The word present and present, they have the same spelling, but as noun, present is a gift and present is to give something formally to someone. And the fifth point is most compound nouns have their stress on the first noun. For example, we have playground, blackboard, cupboard, etc. And the final point we want to give you is that with the three syllable words ending in "ly", they often have their stress on the first syllable. For example, orderly, quietly, or recently.
So now I'm Kanma, and now I'm gonna talk to you about the grammar part, which is reported speech. I think that you should pay attention on this part because it is really important in our test. So there are some points that we need to focus on today. First is the definition of direct speech and reported speech. Second is like the general rules of changing direct speech into reported speech. Third is reporting some types of sentences. And the last section is unchanged case relating to tenses. First of all, we're going to talk about the definition of direct speech and reported speech. We use direct speech when we report someone's word by quoting them, like in this sentence, I will go and hit some milk, said Agnes. So instead of quoting the exact words, we can report the meaning in our words and from our point of view. This is called indirect speech or reported speech. The previous sentence is now changed into Agnes said she would go and hit some milk. Agnes is the subject of the sentence and said is a reporting verb, which can also be called introductory verb. And she would go and hit some milk is the reported content. There are some general rules for changing direct speech into reported speech. First of all, you should pay attention on reporting verbs. Reporting verbs of direct speech need changing so that they fit the meaning and structure of the sentence. Like in this sentence, the original sentence is, he said, do you like coffee? We changed this sentence into, he asked me if I like coffee. So the reporting verb or introductory verb here is ask. The second example is, if I were you, I'd not buy that coat, said Mary. So this sentence is transformed into, Mary advised me not to buy the coat, and the reporting verb here is advised. There are many different verbs of reporting. Some of them are used before a that clause or WH clause. Some are used with other patterns, such as to infinitive clause or gerund clause. So we have given you some of the common one in our handout that had been sent to you on Zalo. So can somebody please read out some of the reporting verb? Can number 25. Who is number 25? Hello. So can you read out the table that we had given to you in our handout?
The table of reporting verb, yeah?
Yeah.
So I admit, agree, announce, argue, ask, believe, hear, inquire, insist, know, point out, say, suggest, suppose, think, understand, wonder, and verbs that those were the verbs that plus that clause and WH clause. The second The verb whose indirect objects can be left out are assure, inform, reassure, remind, tell, and notify. Um, verb, those verbs that plus two infinitives are free, offer, refuse, threaten, volunteer, promise. Verbs that plus objects plus two infinitives are advise, remind, invite, warn. Verbs that plus gerunds are admit, deny, and suggest. Verbs that is accompanied with a preposition and a gerund are apologize for, complain about, insist on, object to, confess to. And the last one, verbs that is accompanied with an object, a preposition, and a gerund. And they are accused of, blamed for, congratulated for, criticized for, and praised for, thanked for, and warned about.
So these are very common reporting verbs that you should learn it by heart and remember it clearly so that you can do well on the test. So there are some special notes that you should know in reporting speech. First is about dropping that. The conjunction that is often dropped, especially after common reporting verbs like say or think in informal speech. So, like in this sentence, like she said that she had had enough. We can omit the word that so that the sentence is shorter. Second, the next one is indirect speech without reporting verbs. In newspaper, radio, and TV reports of parliamentary debates, records of conferences, and minutes of meetings, etc., the indirect speech construction is often used with very few reporting verbs. The use of tenses is enough to make it clear that a text is a report. Here's an example. The managing director began his address to the shareholders by summarizing the results for the year. Profits on the whole had been high, though one or two areas had been disappointing. It was, however, important to maintain a high level of investment, and he was sure that the shareholders would appreciate. So you should pay attention on the second and third sentence in this paragraph. We can see that we can see that although there is no clear reporting verb in these two sentences, however, the second and third sentence still include reported speech with a sign of backshift, which we're gonna talk to, which we're gonna talk about to you later. As you can see in the words in bold, like had and would appreciate. So now we're gonna come into backshift of tenses, which is a really important part in reported speech. So we sometimes change the tense of the reported clause by moving it back one tense. For example, present simple goes back one tense to past simple. We call this change backshift. We do not use backshift every time. We just use it when it is logical to use backshift. So, for example, if 2 minutes ago John said, I am hungry, and now I am telling his sister, I might not use backshift in this sentence because John is still hungry now. But if yesterday John said, I am hungry, Now I am telling it to his sister. I would likely to use back shift. Like yesterday, John said that he was hungry. So the table of back shift is given to you in the handout, and I hope that you all know about this because it is this is basic knowledge that you need to know before. There are some other changes in a reported sentence that need to be focused on. First is about the change in people, place, and time. When we report something, we have to take account of changes in the situation, a different speaker, a different place, and a different time. Can somebody read out the example that we have given on the PowerPoint? Uh, Number 19, please.
Yes, please. Can you because I don't see the screen. So
So, do you have like the handout there? Because I think that because we had it on our handout too. So in case you do not see the screen.
okay. Let me open the file because I cannot print it out. Wait a minute. Okay. Example. James on Saturday evening. I don't like this party. I want to go home. I want to go home now. Jackie on Saturday evening. James says or said he doesn't like the party and he wants to go home then. Daniel on Sunday morning. James said that he didn't like the party and he wanted to go home then.
So you can see that there are changes of tenses in these three sentences, like I don't like to he doesn't like and he didn't like, and I want to he wants and he wanted, and now change to then and then. So there are some typical changes from of adverbial times in from direct speech into indirect speech, like now change into then at that time immediately, today into that day, tonight change into that night, yesterday to the day before or the previous day, tomorrow to the next day or the following day, this week changed into that week, last year to the year before the previous year, next month is next month to the month after and the following month, an hour ago to an hour before. So here are some very common changes when you use reported speech. So we are coming to reporting some different types of sentences. There are 4 types of sentence, like declarative, interrogative, imperative, and exclamatory. However, declarative sentences are most commonly used among these 4 types, and they just follow the rules mentioned before in part B, so we don't mention it in this section. First, we come into imperative sentence. Imperative sentence gives a command, demand, or instructions directly to an audience and typically begins with an action word or verb. These sentences often appear to lack a subject or the person, place, or thing that performs the main action. Example, in this sentence, be quiet. We change it into the teacher told the students to be quiet. So we transform this sentence due to the situation, based on the situation and the person who said this sentence and who received the information, which is the teacher and the student. In the second example, like sit down, we change this sentence into my boss told me to sit down. Secondly is like the exclamatory sentences. An exclamatory sentence is a sentence that expresses a state of sorrow, joy, or wonder. To convert them into indirect speech, some specific words are used as the reporting verb. The usage of these words depends on the state of emotion expressed in the exclamatory sentence. An exclamatory sentence has a sign of exclamation after it, which changes into a full stop in the indirect speech. In indirect speech, the exclamatory phrase or word interjection is replaced by exclaimed with joy, sorrow, regret, surprise, contempt, etc. Here are some examples. Like in this sentence, the original sentence is the boy said, "Hooray, we have won the match." So this sentence is transformed into the boy exclaimed with joy that they had won the match. On my mic, mic is turned off, and I didn't know that. Sorry. An interrogative sentence is a type of sentence that asks a question. Interrogative sentences are typically marked by inversion of the subject and predicate, that is, the first verb in a phrase appears before the subject. There are 2 types of interrogative sentences, which is WH questions and yes/no question. WH questions are questions that begin with question words like how, what, where, when, why, and who. Yes/no question beginning with auxiliary like to be, do, does, did, have, has, and had. First of all, we're gonna talk about interrogative sentence, beginning with question words. The structure of the sentence is question words plus auxiliary and subject, verb, and object. Question marks are eliminated in reporting interrogative questions. The same basic rules as mentioned above in Part B of reporting a direct sentence are also applied to this kind of sentence. However, interrogative sentences must be changed into a statement form. First, here an example. The original sentence is, how has he arrived here? Martin said. We changed this sentence into, Martin asked how he had arrived here. There. Second, the last type of sentence is interrogative sentences beginning with auxiliary or can also be called yes-no question. Question marks are eliminated in reported interrogative questions. To report an interrogative sentence beginning with auxiliary, the direct sentence must be converted into statement form. Whether or if must also be added before the original sentence. Here are some examples. John said, will Peter come tomorrow? We change this sentence into, John asked whether Peter would come the next day. There are some special unchanged tense case in reported speech that we need to remember. So we keep the tense unchanged in the following cases. First, the reporting content is a general or universal fact or truth, like the earth goes around the sun, said the teacher. To the teacher said that the earth goes around the sun. So we do not use backsheet in this case because the earth goes around the sun is a general truth that everybody knows and cannot be changed, so that we keep it the same. Second is the reporting content is a habit, like I get up at 6 in the morning, said Mary. Mary said that she gets up at 6 in the morning. So it is Mary's habit to get up at 6 in the morning, and it hasn't changed in the present, so that we don't need to change the tense in this sentence. Third is the reporting content is a hobby, like I like reading books. She said she said that she likes reading book. So same to the previous examples. The fact that she liked reading books still remain the same, so that we don't change the tense in this case. Fourth is the reporting verbs. Third is the reporting verbs are in present or future tenses, like he says, I will come, to he says that he will come. Fifth is the reporting content is conditionals type 3 and 2 are mixed. Like if I won the lottery, I would travel around the world, said she. She said that she would travel the world if she won the lottery. So the reported content in this sentence is conditional type 2. So we don't need to change the tense in this sentence. 6. The reporting content is in simple past tense with particular time. Like my grandpa said to me, our house was built in 1997. To my grandpa told me that our house was built in 1997. So the reporting content in this sentence is in simple past with a particular time here, which is 1997. So we don't need to change the tense in this sentence. Seventh, the reporting content is in past perfect. Like example, I had written the 3 books and I was working on another one, said Tom. Tom said that he had written this book, 3 books, and he was working on another one. So the reported content is I had written 3 books, and which is in past perfect, so we don't need to change the tense in this sentence. 8. The reporting content includes one of these modal verbs like could, would, should, might, and ought to. So, example, David might ring today, said he. He said David might ring that day. So there is the modal verb might in this sentence, so we don't need to change the tense. 9th, the reporting content has structure with which, like in this example, Susan said that Susan said, I wish I lived in the mountains. To Susan said she wished she lived in the mountains. So we don't need to change tense here. Lastly, the reporting content has structures with subjunctive. The subjunctive is a grammatical mood, a feature of the utterance that indicates the speaker's attitude toward it, like customer, I want you to give me a full refund. This sentence is changed into the customer demanded that the company give him a full refund. There are some common mistakes when there are a very common mistake when we change direct speech into indirect speech is that we sometimes don't remember to use backshift or like change the people and place or times in the sentence. Like in this example, direct speech is she said I'm sick, and the wrong sentence is she said that she is sick. So we must use backshift and change the tense into she said that she was sick. There are some advanced points that we want to include it in this part. A number of adjectives can be used to report a speaker's feeling or opinion about a situation. Some are followed by a that clause. These include adamant, agreed, angry, annoyed, certain, grateful, insistent, sure, like in this example. The builders are certain that they'll be finished by the end of the week. So we change this sentence into scientists are sure that where the remains of the spacecraft will come to land. Ủa? Some are usually followed by a preposition or a noun phrase. Here are some examples together with the most common preposition following them, like apologetic, complimentary, exulting, tactful, plus some about something, critical, dismissive, scornful, plus of something or somebody, abusive, sympathetic, plus to or towards somebody. Like today's newspaper are very critical of the president's decision to appoint Mr. Waters. So we are now going to some practice so that you will remember the lesson better. Can somebody answer this question, or I will call your number? Do anyone want to do this question? So I will call your number because I don't see anyone volunteer to do this question. Can number 4 do this question for me?
Hello.
Yeah.
Can
What
you hear
is
me?
your yeah? What is your answer for this question?
I choose D.
So D is the correct answer for this question. The note I want you to remember here is the structure of refuse, like to refuse somebody to do something, but to reject somebody or something, because in this sentence, both refuse and reject have the same meaning, but only refuse is suitable for the structure in this sentence, which is the refuse. Do anyone know the answer of this question? Jane said, I like drawing sketches. So I see Tanja is raising her hand. So can you answer this question?
I chose B.
So D is the correct answer. So a note that you need to pay attention on in this sentence is if the reporting content is a hobby, we keep the tense unchanged. The last question is the boss said call him right now. So do anyone know the answer for this question? So Hồng Anh, please.
I choose D.
Yeah, D is the correct answer. A special note is to report an imperative sentence. The verb order, which means order someone to do something, is among the common ones. So you need to remember this example well. So this is the end of the grammar part. I hope that you will revise well and do all the homework that we had given you on our handouts. The answer will be given to you via Zalo so that you can check it later. So it is the end of our presentation today, and I hope you enjoy it. We will see you tomorrow. We will see you later on Friday with Ngọc Mai and Quỳnh Nhi.